Hello and welcome to another update video about TIA Celestia. We've covered it a few weeks ago, but the main problem I have with this chart is that there is simply not enough price action to really clearly tell you what's going on here. However, we defined in the last update a support zone that the price did dip into this support zone, dipped into the target area and is already reversing out of it. All I can do at this stage is to give you some levels for risk management, highlight where ideally things should be going if the price is forming really a diagonal pattern to the upside, because it's certainly not an impulse. And then we can talk about a few targets and talk about support levels, but please don't see this as too predictive. As I said, this is a really limited chart history. So all we can do is to highlight what really needs to happen for the price to maintain the current trend. So the idea is that obviously there are two wave counts, the white one and the yellow one. The white one is more bullish. The yellow one basically could top at any time. In the yellow one, we're simply dealing with an ABC structure. A wave, B wave, C wave might have topped, could even get another high. I mean, the ABC pattern here is really just the purpose of that is to highlight that if we break below micro support, we have a top in 3 waves and it can easily break, make completely new lows, or at least it will show us a very deep pullback with a high likelihood. Well, obviously the only real, let's say, really interesting scenario is really the one that goes up, I think, at the moment, and where we have some pullback areas, and the last pullback area worked out, and that is a count in which the price is moving up in a diagonal, in a leading diagonal. Again, it's not impulsive. In a diagonal pattern, the price topped here in a wave 1 in November, wave 2 pullback. This here is certainly not a third wave because it's too short, this move up, but it could be the A wave of a third wave. Yeah, so that could be the A wave. Then we have a B wave pullback. The bottom was in here probably around the 3rd of January. And it seems likely that now a C wave is unfolding, basically wave C of 3. Here I have to add a warning because also the wave C, it is not an impulse. So it is at best an ending diagonal. Now, if you have an overall diagonal pattern, you're in a third wave of a diagonal, and the C wave is not an impulse, it's an absolute mess. Doesn't mean it's bearish, but it means it's not clearly bullish. Or at least we need to be on our toes, and it means that this is not the best chart really to seek for precision. Okay, so you need to be flexible. Again, it doesn't mean it's bearish, but it means give the chart a little bit of space. We need to be a bit flexible and so on. Certainly it doesn't really make sense to trade something like that in an aggressive fashion. But hey, let's say, okay, the uptrend is unfolding. Let's say a C wave to the upside here is unfolding. We would now also be in wave C of 3 in that diagonal. This way it's getting very complex. I mean, when you have so many different subwaves, you basically can tell that you have to change something. But most importantly, in the last update, we saw the price come down here in a B wave. I gave you a support area, trend reversal area, with support between $13.88 and $16.88. The market reversed where it needed to, and we could now be moving up in this smaller C wave. So that means to keep the uptrend alive, the market should really hold. 1 second, the market should really hold that ascending trend line and needs to avoid a break below the last swing low at $13.88. What I can do now for you is possibly give you a potential target here for this C wave. I think that's what we really should do next. The typical target is the 100% extension level. That's the very first target. Come on. It's the very first target we can really look at here. And then we talk about $22.86, so let's call it $23 roughly for this third wave. Obviously, we need to make sure that this adds up because we have before that, we have a 1-2 setup already, okay? And then the third wave typically reaches the 1.236 extension. So that is way higher. Here we talk about $25. So Okay, that's not a problem. There is some Fibonacci confluence around $25, $26. So that seems to be sort of a target that we could work with. But please be aware, things might easily change. And things already will, oops, that was the table. Things already will start to break down probably when we start to see a break below the ascending trend line. That's really everything I can tell you right now, because again, the chart doesn't really give us any long-term outlook. It's a limited chart history. Really, I can really only give you the relevant support levels, which I did, and when I think things start to break down, as well as which targets ideally should be reached next. Hope it helps. So hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.